What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to be looking at Larry Elder going against the Breakfast Club. Now, from what I understand, up in this interview, they disrespected Larry Elder so much. Apparently, they questioned his blackness. They asked him if he was slow. They called him a fascist. And pretty much they were just demeaning him this whole entire time. So from what I understand, Larry Elder does not qualify for the first GOP debate. Is that true, guys? Let me know in the comments below. And are you guys actually excited for the first GOP debate? I am. But before we get into this video, make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
There's a lot of sins, though. Sex before marriage is a sin. I'm sure you did some of that.
As for the sins of my past, either the Lord has forgiven me or the statute of limitations has run out. I'm making a joke about that. A lot of people, of course, make mistakes, yes. Okay. And I think that people should deal with the consequences of their actions. And if you let people know there are consequences to their actions, it will inform their actions and make them behave more responsibly. Anytime you allow bad behavior to continue, you're going to get more bad behavior, whether that's...
So how does that apply to President Trump then? Because you said that was a two-tier system that
because I don't
don't
believe Donald Trump...
You don't think he did anything?
I don't think he did anything wrong. No, I don't. I believe that he complained about the election the same way Hillary did. Hillary, for 4 years, referred to the 2016 election as having been stolen, her word, not mine. She called Donald Trump illegitimate, her word, not mine. Jay Johnson, who's Obama's DHS secretary, testified under oath that not a single vote tally was changed by the Russians. They tried, but they failed to change a single vote tally. 66% of Democrats believe the Russians changed vote tallies to get Donald Trump elected. Even though Jay Johnson testified under oath, not a single one was changed. That's the damage that people like Hillary and former President Jimmy Carter and Stacey Abrams and Hakeem Jeffries and others have said for years, referring to Donald Trump as illegitimate. A greater percentage of Democrats believe 2016 was stolen than we feel that way about 2020, but yet nobody calls them election deniers and nobody accuses them of undermining our republic. And they're not undermining our republic. They're complaining about an election. You have a right to do so.
I know you probably got to go. Have you ever heard of the term wake-up call?
Oh, no. My God.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of... Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever...
See, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is such a condescending question. That was such a condescending question, basically they're questioning his blackness right now, if you ask me. Now, let's address what Larry Elder said at first about the Trump stuff and all of that stuff. So from what I understand, I was watching his lawyer talk, Trump's lawyer, to be specific. I was watching one of Trump's lawyers talk, and he was saying that his defense is going to be that Trump had the right with his First Amendment to say anything else like any other citizen of the United States. Not only that, but they are disregarding the fact that he was the president of the United States when that stuff happened, so they cannot prosecute him from the stuff that he did when he was the president of the United States. That was going to be the defense from what I heard. Let me know in the comments if I'm mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure that's his defense. Basically, Trump had the First Amendment right just like everybody else in the country, and he exercised that First Amendment right, and he just told people what he thought, what he genuinely thought, not that he was trying to trick people or anything like that. He genuinely thought that, and also that, basically since he was the president, he can get away with that stuff. Essentially, from what I heard, that's what his lawyer was saying. But with that being said, let's keep going.
Well, I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
Yep.
You ain't black. It upset me just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like that. But what I did say.
Well, you just not talk about a nigger wake up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney. Because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seems to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't.
You know, for the record, I'm not a Democrat or Republican.
I'm not a Democrat or Republican, but you have a very clear bias towards Democrats, and we know this, Charlemagne. Why are you even pretending like you don't? Inherently, because of how pro-black, I keep doing the pro-black thing with quotations because we already know that really doesn't mean anything anymore, especially for the pro-black activists. But at the same time, you claim that you're pro-black, and most pro-black people tend to be Democrats for some real reason. I don't know why, because they don't do anything for the black community at all, but who cares? I digress. Basically, though, you are condescending, Charlemagne. I don't like people that are passive aggressive. And he is clearly passive aggressive. Be a man, Charlemagne. Come on. Say what you want to say with your chest. Don't say, oh, have you ever heard of a nigga wake up call? No. How about you say, hey, Are you black? You know, I don't like the way you think. Are you black? That's all you had to say. Just say that. Come on. Let's be honest here, right, guys? In the comments below, or even the audience, anybody that's watching right now, you guys know what Charlamagne wanted to say right there, right? Come on.
I didn't say you were.
Yeah, I think both.
I don't know what
trash.
you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, but you are black.
Absolutely.
And to have a white guy come in here and tell you you have to say, think a certain kind of way, otherwise you, quote, ain't black. Wow.
That's how I replied to him. You think?
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person? I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think? I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me not black. 20% of black people, black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black men walking around are really black, 20% are not because they voted for Donald Trump. How insulting is that? How condescending is that?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it in that way.
You're probably right, but I didn't
As I
take it
said
that
to
way.
him in that moment, it's just about me wanting something for my people, and I want to know what is he going to do for my people, and not only for my people now, how are you going to atone for the things you've done to my people?
Right.
So you get mad at all of these other people. You get mad at Donald Trump. You get mad at all of these other Republican politicians for saying stuff far less offensive than what Joe Biden said that day. And I didn't take it that way. Oh, I only thought that, he just said this and that. So you didn't really take it offensive at all? He literally said, you're not black if you don't vote for me, Charlamagne. He literally said, you are not black. Imagine you just interviewing Joe Biden and he says, you're not black if you don't vote for me. What? How do you even know what black is supposed to mean, apparently, in your whole little world? Come on, Joe Biden. But still, come on, Charlamagne. You're being disingenuous right now, Charlamagne. That's what you're being.
That's it.
Right. And this is a guy, Joe Biden, who, when he first got into the Senate, hung out with segregationists, talked about how well he got along with them, talked about how he didn't want integration because of a jungle. This guy has made all sorts of insulting things to black people, and his policies right now are hurting black people. Inflation hurts the people at the bottom more than anything else. Letting a bunch of illegal aliens into the border are hurting black people more than anybody else, as I said earlier. Yes. He opposes school choice. Yes. And he has his own kids in private school. And we lost a year, almost 2 years of in-school education in California because of COVID that he supported. I mean, this guy has done monstrous things to black people. Right. And then for him to come in here and tell you how you ought to think as a black person, it blew my mind.
As a person objectively who doesn't care about either party, when I just take a step back and I just look at everything that's happening, I see one party that seems still committed to democracy somewhat, and one party who's headed fast towards fascism.
Really?
That's just my personal opinion. So who do you think?
Wait, which party does he think is which, I wonder? That's a very interesting perspective, because you could really argue either way depending on what side you're on, because both sides have ideologies that oppose each other. So of course both sides would think a certain way. I'm pretty sure Charlamagne the God is a Democrat. Regardless of what you say, the way that you just perceive that, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Trump. When he says the party headed towards fascism, he's talking about Trump. He's talking about, Republicans. So you don't think that the Democrats were headed towards fascism when they literally said, when Hillary Clinton literally said, hey, Joe Biden, if you lose in 2020, do not concede. Do not concede at all in one bit. She basically essentially was telling Joe Biden to do the same thing that Trump actually did do. So what do you mean?
I think I would vote for.
Well, let's talk about fascism, since I assume you're talking about election denying.
Yes.
In 2000, when George W. Bush won the election over Al Gore, the Democrats, the first week of January 2001, tried to overturn the results in Florida. 2004, George W. Bush gets reelected. Democrats, including Benny Thompson, the chair of the January 6th committee, Jamie Raskin, a member of the January 6th committee, joined with 28 other House Democrats and Senator Barbara Boxer to overturn the results in Ohio, claiming without any evidence that the Debo voting machine had been hacked. 2016, January 2017, Democrats challenged more states trying to get the election overturned that elected Donald Trump. Then Donald Trump challenged the first week of January in 2021. Nobody accused them of undermining our republic. Nobody accused them of being fascists. They exercised whatever means they could to try to win the election. Yes. I want to remind you that Hillary Clinton advised Joe Biden during the 2020 election, if it is a close election, quote, do not concede under any circumstances, close quote. Donald Trump used whatever legal means he could, advancing some novel legal theories to try to stay in office, and he failed.
Wait. I'm so glad that Larry Elder just said exactly what I just said about Hillary Clinton telling Joe Biden that, because I remember her saying that. I'm like, okay, so you guys are just blaming Trump for doing these things without looking at your own party? Like, without looking at the representatives for your own party? Like, what are you doing here? Like, what type of game are we playing? This is what I don't like about this politics stuff right now. Like, why are both sides being treated unequally? One side is being treated better than the other one right now. Clear as day that it is, and then that one side that's that's getting treated better, they're trying to ignore the fact that they're getting treated better. They're saying, "Oh no, everything is equal." No, it's not. It's clearly not. But let's keep going.
But I don't blame him for trying.
Yeah, but it's not just election denying. It's the disdain of women and fear of non-standard gender
What?
identities and sexual.
You just changed the subject.
Disdain
It's
for
the
women.
galvanizing of popular rage against cultural elite.
What does that have to do with fascism, though? Your original claim was about fascism, so you just completely flipped the script all the way. Why did he just let him get away with that? Okay, I like Larry Elder, but come on, Larry, you gotta say, hold on, wait, no. What is your point? Ask Charlamagne the God. Lay out your point completely.
It's nationalism based on dominant,
Wow.
superior race and historic bloodlines. Like,
He just
there's a
wrote all this
lot
stuff
of
down.
things that Republicans are doing.
Well, what about
Fascism.
Joe Biden going to Howard University as he did recently, giving a commencement speech, Charlamagne, and he said the number one threat to the homeland was white supremacy. Really? The
Really?
But the FBI said that.
The Anti-Defamation League keeps track of how many people are killed by extremists, no matter the race of the extremists, every year. Last year, there were 25. As I said, in 2020, there were
25.
11,000 blacks who were murdered, almost all murdered by other people, not murdered by white extremists. It's a lie to say white extremists is a big problem in America. It's a lie. It's what Democrats do to get black people
Well,
angry.
the FBI said that.
It's what Democrats.
Biden got that from the FBI.
Fine. I don't agree with that. The number one
So you mean to tell me, Charlamagne the God, that you trust the FBI when you want to, but you don't trust them when you claim that they killed Martin Luther King? Which one is it? Do you trust the FBI or do you not trust the FBI? Because me personally, I can tell you right now, I do not trust the FBI at the very moment. Don't trust them.
threat to the homeland is a large number of people who are engaging in criminal activity. And what Democrats do is tell black people racism, racism, racism. They trot out David Duke or some other facsimile every 4 years to tell black people, vote for us because, after all, we're the party of racial justice, social justice, and equity. And these dastardly people over there, these Republicans, are the party of Jim Crow and slavery, even though
True.
it was the Democratic Party that was
Mike,
the party of Jim Crow and slavery.
That's what they say, though. Yeah, true.
Rock with the GOP then. Like, what are the reasons?
Economics. I had Tavis Smiley and Cornel West on my radio show once, Charlamagne.
Oh, wow. Cornel West.
And I told Tavis and Cornel West that under Ronald Reagan, black adult unemployment fell faster than white adult unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Black Hispanic unemployment fell faster than did white unemployment. Black teenage unemployment fell faster than did white teenage unemployment. Black businesses were created at a rate faster. Their revenues grew at a rate faster. And they both told me that I was wrong and that they would have the data on my desk by Monday. That was 15 years ago. I know the mail is slow, but it seems to me they should have given it to me by now. Again, Donald Trump presided over the best economy ever for black people, lowest unemployment. And it seems to
15
me
years.
the number one reason that most people vote is because of the economy. We have had 40-year historic high in inflation. We've had gas prices that are now about 40% more than what they were when Joe Biden came into office. And we have about 7 million illegal aliens in our country. And the bulk of the suffering because of these illegal aliens will be borne by black people living in the inner city.
Would it be fun to
Those are
So on paper, it is factually correct that Joe Biden is like objectively worse for the black community than Trump was. Like objectively, they were. Now I have another clip for you guys. I have one more clip for you guys that I want to show you about. It's a clip that I was talking about in the beginning. If I didn't cut it out, I might have cut it out. Except basically, it's a clip that I was talking about that I said infuriated me so much. It's about this woman on the Breakfast Club that's like starting to interview people now. I guess something like that. She's new. I've never seen her before in my life. Except watch this. Just watch this, guys. Watch this clip.
They're two totally
two different
things.
things. Yes,
you're
yes, they
trying
are.
to merge the two, but they're two totally different things.
I agree with you. There's
But
two
it is
different
still the
things.
system.
No,
It is
no,
still-
we're
it is still
agreeing.
the
We're
system.
agreeing. They're two different things. We're agreeing.
No, we're agreeing to two different things. We're not agreeing that there's not systematic racism because we're not in charge of the system, sir. In case you
Of course not.
Okay, all right.
Black people have never been in charge of any system.
Well,
we're not even that vein.
actually, we have been. Take Baltimore.
No, we've never been in charge
May
of
I
any
finish?
system. Tell me, what financial system are black people in
Okay,
charge of?
let's
What
take-
healthcare system are black people in charge of? What government system are black people in
I'm
charge of?
about ready to tell
what
you.
prison system are
I'm
black people in charge?
about ready to tell you.
I'm not talking about mayors. I already know that talking point, sir. I go on Fox News all the time as
See-
well. So let's not.
No. I don't like what she's doing right now, guys. This clip really infuriated me because first off, she's not letting him talk, right? That's always a problem. If you don't let somebody speak and answer the question that you're trying to ask, that's a problem. But another thing that I just thought that was really messed up was she's claiming that since black people are not in charge of these systems, say that they're not, even though I think they are, because later there's going to explain that, but say that they are not in charge of these systems. How does that in any way say that there's systematic racism just for the simple fact that they're not in charge of these systems? I don't understand the correlation between those two. Oh, black people are not in charge? It's systematic racism. How is that possible? Anybody watching this, let me know. How is it possible that because black people are not in charge of these systems that means that it's systematic racism, that is proof that it is systematic racism? No, that just simply means that black people have not created a system yet to be in charge of it. you have to create the system first to be in charge of it, don't you? Who created the system? White people, obviously, because they're the ones that brought us over here as slaves. So of course they're in charge of the system because they're the ones that created the actual system in the first place. This is very obvious, right, guys? This is just like common knowledge, common logic, honestly.
I go there with that. I said, what system have we created?
Goodness.
Have we implemented that we have been in charge of? Name one.
Is this why you don't like talking to black women, Larry Elder?
Wow.
Wow.
Baltimore. Freddie Gray a few years ago.
No. That's mayors. I'm not talking. I said system.
I'm
Remember,
going to tell you about.
Do you know what a system
if you allow me to
is?
finish my point.
I'm not talking about somebody elected and doing a job, sir. I asked, what system did we create? What financial
Okay, let's
system
talk
did we
about the
create?
system of one of the largest.
Let him say his point,
Thank you.
sir.
One of the systems of one of the largest cities in America, Baltimore. Freddie Gray died in police custody a few years ago. The mayor was black. The head of the police department was black. Number two.
It's not in charge of the system, but go ahead.
Number two person in charge of the police department was black.
Still not in charge of the
all of
system.
city council, Democrats, majority black.
Still not in charge of the system.
See,
Wow.
That's a position.
6 officers charged, 3 of them were black. A judge before whom 2 of the officers tried their case found him not guilty was black.
Still not in charge of the system.
The city intendant of public schools was black. The county superintendent of public schools is black.
so yeah, she's just interrupting now.
The attorney general at the time, Loretta Lynch, is black, as was the president of the United States, was black. And yet,
Still
many
not in
people,
charge of the system.
who's in
I
charge of
asked
the
you a
system,
simple
Ted?
question,
well,
sir.
well,
No.
Wanda Sykes said when Barack Obama got elected, how are you going to complain about the man when you are the man? Now, from the president to the attorney general to the state attorney to the mayor to the head of the police department to the commissions of the schools in the city and in the county to the majority of city council in that city, all of them are black. And you're still saying that we don't run anything?
So who's in charge of the
No.
system, Ted?
I said who created the system. I didn't say we didn't run anything. I challenged a lot of those black leaders.
You did say that we didn't run anything. That's specifically what you just said, first off. Second off, you said, oh, we didn't create the system. Obviously, we did not create the system. That's the whole entire point. The whole entire point is that we did not create the system. So why are we arguing and why are we pandering to the black community saying that they should be in charge of the system if they did not create it in the first place? That's my whole entire point. If you did not create the system, you should not be in charge of it. Well, you could be in charge of it because, like as Larry Elder just said, some people are in charge of it. Except the thing is, you should not feel entitled to be in charge of it. If you ask me, first off, second off, how is it that you not being in charge of a system creates systematic racism? She has still yet to actually explain that correlation. And Larry Elder, I think, should have called her out for this. How is it that if black people are not in charge of the system, at the very tippy top of the system, how does that mean that they are systematic racism? I just really want her to actually explain that correlation.
By the way, I said when we talk about the system, what black people have been in charge of any system. I'm not talking
This is
about
not a point,
position.
though.
I'm not talking about a mayor. You know good
So
well what I'm talking
you're
about,
basically
Mr.
saying
Elder.
that they're black faces that are still in those
Correct.
positions, but they're still being a
Correct.
part
Similar
of the
to you, Mr.
So-
Elder.
so-
You're
so-
a black face in a position in the
See,
conservative
just so
movement. They're
condescending.
just the same. They're just on the other side. I'm talking about
So
we
then,
have
so then,
never
so
been in
then,
charge
so
of
then, when
the
Martin Luther
system.
King said in 1966, "I believe there could be a black president in about 40 years' time," then it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because one or is
No,
the one because nothing changes. He was
well,
naive.
the
He was
system
naive
also
then.
killed him as well. Well, we know that the FBI and the CIA also killed him. That system. You realize that, correct?
Wow.
That system.
An individual killed him.
Right. That was also a part of Pro Hotel through the system.
COINTELPRO.
Correct?
Yes.
Not correct.
COINTELPRO.
Not correct.
So this is what I'm saying. It's very conflicting, right? So Charlamagne God apparently trusts the FBI and she doesn't. But basically what I'm saying is this, right? If it is very clear that specific people do not trust the FBI because the FBI has killed white people as well, right? The FBI apparently, allegedly, let me just say, the FBI allegedly has killed white people and black people alike, right? All of these different citizens, right? So if we unanimously agree that we should not be trusting this actual system or this specific bureaucratic apparatus, which is the FBI, then I think we can agree that it's not about systematic racism. It's more so about the system being corrupt, right? It's being tyrannical, right? And do you guys follow what I'm saying? If you're looking at me right now, do you guys actually understand what I'm saying right here? Am I making any sense? I don't know. I might not be making any sense. I might be stupid in my head. I might just think that I'm, sounding a little bit smarter and I'm really just sounding stupid right now. But let's keep going.
He was
So
killed.
the FBI didn't have anything to do with it. The CIA didn't have anything to do with
J.
it.
Edgar Hoover was definitely on Martin's ass. Come on.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Oh.
Robert Kennedy is the one that approved the wiretaps. But to say that the FBI killed him, I mean, what's your evidence of that?
Oh, no,
That's a pretty serious charge.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Pretty serious
That's true.
charge.
Yeah.
Serious charges
Yeah, I
require
was talking
serious.
about the
Okay, yeah, she's gonna keep talking. She's gonna keep talking. But at the end of the day, I think that was it from that. I just wanted to show you guys exactly what I had to gripe with. That's like the main clip I had to gripe with, because like, you're so uneducated to be speaking so fast, to be speaking so, you know, like, why do you speak so eloquent just for you to like not actually know what you're saying or get what you're saying? Do you even know what a system is? Do you even know what the government is? Do you guys know what the government is? Up in the comments below. I'm pretty sure you guys know what the government is. So it doesn't seem like she knows what the government actually does and what their actual presence means for society. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, my name is yedotti. Like and subscribe. Peace.